Nicodemus Damiano, Her Excellency, the Deputy Minister of Economy and Foreign Trade, the Syrian Arab Republic, Ms. Rena Ahmed, my very good friend, former President of CII, senior business leader, somebody I personally have learned a lot from about logistics, about what we need to do to improve the India story on connectivity, Mr. Dinesh. I was just telling Mr. Dinesh that Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, who really holds the India flag high across the world when it comes to our business engagements, the very erudite Director General of CII, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, whom I consider almost as a part of my team, and who truly delivers when we come up with new ideas, new initiatives. All the distinguished ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, captains of industry, well-wishers of the India-Mediterranean business story, friends. I'm indeed delighted to participate in this first CII India-Mediterranean Business Conclave 2024 because it's an idea whose time has come. I'm really impressed with the wonderful lineup of delegates, speakers, business leaders from India and across the Mediterranean. I'm given to understand there are almost 100 international participants with coming from nearly 30 plus countries. And for a program which has just got launched for the first time, the entire discussions spanning such a wide agenda gives me the confidence that this first event is a great beginning to a wonderful future, and I'm sure CII will continue to have this event at whatever periodicity they have decided. On behalf of the government, on behalf of both the Foreign Ministry and the Commerce Ministry, I would like to place on record our deep gratitude to CII for making this happen and for putting together such a wonderful program. Thank you very much. Friends, I was trying to recall what are the elements which we all can quickly relate to when it comes to the India-Mediterranean story. While of course this conclave is going to be discussing on very, very modern, very important elements, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the Mediterranean cruise which I had enjoyed. The first thing that comes to my mind is possibly Mamma Mia and the wonderful story around the Greek islands. And I do believe that that is one area which holds tremendous promise in this beautiful relationship between the Mediterranean countries and India, on which we must actually set up a working group. India has huge opportunities for tourism, probably one of the rare countries where you can get the sun and the rain and snow, hot weather, cold weather, everything at the same time. You can have religious tourism, you can have entertainment, every sort of potential for tourism exists in India, and so does it exist in your wonderful countries in the Mediterranean region. And I do believe that a people-to-people connect, a connect which will ultimately transcend borders, the cultural connect, can be a great area to kickstart this engagement And once people start coming, making new friends, meeting others, we can transform this relationship in the business world on digitization, on defense cooperation, on manufacturing, all the various items on which I'll try to delve in the next few minutes will grow much faster. In fact, this can forge the segue towards greater engagement on business front. Just a thought that came to my mind as I was looking up that region and seeing the wonderful offerings. I believe as Commerce Minister, I'll always be grateful to all the Mediterranean countries for the passage that they provide to probably 80% of global trade. And I think it's a time now that, given the wonderful relations that our leaders share, the Prime Minister of India and the leadership of the various Mediterranean countries, we must translate that wonderful relationship into a similar strong bond between the Mediterranean business persons and Indian business persons, so that we take this relationship to the next level. Of course, India is a perfect example of a growth story which in the last 10 years has prepared a strong foundation. Macroeconomic conditions in India are very good. Fast growth, we are the fastest growing economy in the world for several years now. Last year we clocked 8.2% growth, and it is widely expected that, given the demographic dividend, the young population, with 2/3 of our people in the working age group, our average age at about 28.4 years, we have a huge aspirational Indian population, young population, desirous of all the good things of life, working towards prosperity for their families, which is going to drive Indian growth probably for the next 2 or 3 decades at high levels. All estimates suggest that India's contribution to global growth will continue to be elevated, and from the 5th largest economy of the world, in the next 3 years or so, we are expected to become the 3rd largest economy in the world. The key drivers of India's growth story are programs like Make in India, where we are giving a deep thrust to manufacturing, also supporting our initiatives to become a more resilient nation, self-reliant nation, particularly after the experiences of the global pandemic of COVID. We are working towards digitization in a big way, which we see as also important as we bring in transparency in our operating systems, as we make the life of our citizens easier, what Prime Minister Modi calls ease of living, as we work towards reducing compliance burden, reducing the paperwork and procedures, so that our business persons enjoy the fruits of ease of doing business. It's a holistic effort where we are promoting manufacturing through the Make in India program, services through the Serve from India program, design activities, innovation, R&D through the Design in India program, and of course offering to the world a great holiday through our Incredible India initiative, an initiative promoting tourists from across the world, inviting them to enjoy our hospitality, our cuisines, the beautiful locations across the country. So it's a very holistic growth story in which we have large amount of international investor interest. In fact, our foreign direct investment continues to be at elevated levels for several years now, and we are targeting to become a much more attractive destination for foreign direct investment in the years to come. We also believe we offer a large market both for Mediterranean goods and for the offerings that your countries have, given the desire of Indians to explore the world, given the desire of Indians to learn from the best anywhere in the world, and given the close cultural connect that the nations of the Mediterranean region and India have enjoyed for several years. I think areas like renewable energy, manufacturing, the maritime and blue economy, digitization, textiles, pharma, information technology, agriculture, tourism, all of these have huge potential. And therefore, for all the business persons who have missed out on this important initiative, I think all of you will be our brand ambassadors, taking this message to other countries and inviting them to be a part of this initiative, whether in India or whether CII chooses to do it in different parts of the world, of the region, of Mediterranean region and India, is something that will evolve in the next few months and years. But I do believe it's an opportunity none of us should miss. We also have a huge amount of interests, common interests that we can develop in the shipping sector, whether in shipbuilding, ship ownership, or also in the crews or people associated with the maritime sector, the marine engineers and staff that works the shipping lines. So we have a huge opportunity developing ports in this region. We are developing our Indian ports, expanding capacity. We've doubled the port capacity in the last 10 years. Next 5 years, we hope to once again double our capacity. So the speed of growth in the country is really very aggressive. Prime Minister Modi has just got his third term in office, and he says in his third term, he's going to work with thrice the energy, thrice the speed, and look for thrice the number of outcomes and scale of outcomes in his third term. So we are a nation in a hurry, a nation which wants to give the best to our people and offer a bright future for our young men and women. And therefore, such partnerships will only help us grow and expand much faster. Friends, I must also at this stage recall the initiative of the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC, that was launched during India's G20 presidency. It aims to integrate India, the Middle East and Europe through the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel and the European Union. I'm sure this important initiative of IMEC will add to India's maritime security, and as a strategy, it will reduce our reliance on very few routes which today can become detrimental to our maritime security, and also will help have faster and lower cost connectivity, lower logistics costs through our regions. Our manufacturing sector has been boosted significantly through various initiatives like the Production Linked Incentive Scheme, our effort to provide access to companies around the world and Indian companies to other countries in the world through deeper engagements, free trade agreements, economic partnerships. So we have a great story on our manufacturing side. Telecom is another area where through submarine cables we can look at greater engagement. Our effort to promote global agri-value chains can also support the initiatives between the Mediterranean countries and India. India is working to develop sustainably, and I'm sure that's an area where we can look at Prime Minister Modi's vision of one world, one sun and one grid, so that solar energy or other forms of renewable energy can also be transmitted through our countries and go from India to the Mediterranean region through interconnected grids. And certainly tourism provides that huge connect both culturally and economically that we must explore much faster. Friends, as we move forward, I am very optimistic about this partnership, and I am sure such engagements will build upon the strong foundation that already exists in our friendship and will work towards greater economic prosperity and mutual growth for the Mediterranean countries and India. Our growth story is not a story in isolation. We believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. We invite you to be a part of our family. We invite you to work with India for the shared prosperity of the people of the Mediterranean countries and the people of India for a cleaner, more sustainable, more resilient, more secure, inclusive, and brighter future for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you for your leadership. I think, as I said, you have been somebody with whom we have been interacting with on a regular basis, but every time you come and set a new agenda for us to follow. So thank you indeed for your leadership. I would like to thank the two ministers and most importantly, all of the Mediterranean delegates who have come here to make this the start of the first event of the conclave success. And I hope that not only will we see more of all of you, but the success stories and the good information which you have gathered today will be spread further. I'd like to thank MEA, especially Mr. Pardesi, Secretary. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for all the support which you have given in making this event. And once again, thank you, Honorable Minister, for coming for the inauguration and setting the agenda for all of us to